My name is Andrew. This is my best friend Brandon, and a lot of common videos on YouTube for car guys is the 10 things I hate about my car. So we thought, why not? So Brandon's gonna go first with his car.
Yep, might as well. I got plenty of things to complain about my car.
Yep. Brandon, what do you drive?
I drive a 2004 V6 Mustang, 40th anniversary.
And next, I have a 2000 Volkswagen Beetle. Nothing special about that. We'll show you. All right, so I believe we're gonna get started with you.
All right, let's do it.
Alright, well, let's start with the inside of the car. Well, there's a few things on the interior that I really don't like, and we're going to start off with the number one thing, and it's the seatbelt. So, as you can see, the seatbelt does not retract whatsoever, which can lead into catching in the door, or when you try to pull it around, you can't reach it, or sometimes you just come in and sit on it. So, that's one of the first things. Alright, so the second thing on the interior that I do not like is my seat. Take a look at that. Heftier gentleman actually owned this car before I did. He weighed around 300 something pounds. He tore the seat open, and also the seat is slanted backwards and pretty much destroyed. So that is the second thing I hate about my car. Okay, so the third thing I do not like about the interior is the console. As you can see, I don't know what happened when the gentleman owned it before me, but this is cracked and melted here. And then down here we have a panel gap, and it's kind of just annoying to look at sometimes. So that's the third thing I don't like. All right, now the fourth thing I hate about my car is the handbrake. First of all, the boot's torn on it, and the owner before me, he must have tore it or done something to it. Second, it's not a whole lot of fun to pull, and when you pull it and you're sitting on a hill, it doesn't really do a whole lot. So, fourth thing I hate about my car is the handbrake. All right, now we're moving to the outside of the car. The fifth thing I hate about my car is the door hinges. So when you open the door kind of hangs down a little bit, and then we try to close it, as you can see, is still open. So really got to slam her shut to get it closed. That's the fifth thing I hate about my car. All right, the seventh thing I hate about my car is the hubcaps. If we take a look down here, the hubcaps are corroding or rusting. I'm not entirely sure what they're doing, but they look like trash. So that is the seventh thing I hate about my car. All right, so the eighth thing that I hate about my car are the things that are missing. Okay, so as you can see right here, the clear coat is peeling away. There's a chip here missing paint, and if we walk over here, that's where my antenna used to be, followed by clear coat missing all the way around. So eighth thing I hate about my car, it would be the things that are missing. Alright, so the seventh thing I hate about my car is unfortunately the hood scoop. Yeah, it's fake. Not much to say. It's kind of a Ford thing, so seventh thing I hate about my car is the hood scoop. So, the ninth thing I hate about my car is that it's slow. Unfortunately, I got the V6 version, and we'll just take a look under the hood here. As you can see, it's a V6, so it is it's a lot slow, actually. I probably couldn't even beat some of the minivans that are out here today. I have a cold air intake on it, and that's about it. So the ninth thing I hate about my car is that it's slow. Alright, so the 10th and final thing that I hate about my car is the fact that you have to put weight in it for the winter. Otherwise you'll be slip sliding all over the place and you're going to end up going nowhere. I hate it for the fact that it squats really low in the back and people probably think I'm an idiot. And I also hate it because sometimes I'll bottom out and I'll hit stuff and it just sounds terrible. So I can show you what I put in the back. It's just a bunch of sandbags. In total it's probably about 365 pounds. And I can't stand it. So that is the 10th thing I hate about my car.
All right, so this is my 10 things I hate about my car. It's a 2000 Volkswagen Beetle, and the first thing I hate about this car is the dash. It's a really long dash, 6'6". I got really long arms, and I still can't even touch the front of the dash where the windshield starts. So that makes it a dust magnet, and it gets really dirty up here. So when you go to clean this half and I move to that half, this half gets dirty again by the time I'm done. And recently the foam in the defroster vent has been coming up, making it even more of a pain to clean. So that's the first thing I hate about my car. The second thing I hate about my car is the gauge cluster. As you can see, I have the speed, the gas, and my RPMs. But I don't have any like battery voltage or engine temperature or anything like that. Those are all lights that are indicated in a big arc around the speedometer. So if she's overheating, it's hard to tell how hot she's getting. It's just a light that's flashing. And if there's other things that are wrong, like the battery's dead or something like that, it's just a light that it comes on to indicate when you have a problem. So that is the second thing I hate about my car. The third thing I hate about my car is the cup holders. Now, up here in the front, there are 3 cup holders, but they're in this weird triangular pattern, and they're underneath the center console, which means any kind of drink you get from a normal restaurant doesn't fit in here unless it's an actual can of whatever. There is another cup holder back here in the rear, but there's only one, so my passengers have to kind of play rock, paper, scissors for it, and I typically keep my drink here anyway. So that is the third thing I hate about my car. That I hate about my car, the visors. And it's not necessarily the visor's fault that I hate them, it's more or less the round shape of the windshield at the top. So, I mean, when they come down, sometimes they end up blocking the sun, but other times, like, they don't go very far, so that me being where I am, where I sit, if the sun is at a certain spot, it's like impossible to block it with these, and they're either blocking too much or not enough of what I need to be blocked. So those are the 4 things that I hate about my car. Okay, so the 5th thing that I hate about my car, still on the inside, is the door panels. The glue has come off and they're like super loose and falling out of their spots. So as I'm driving, I can continuously have to like push them back into the spot, and it's like that on the other side too. But it doesn't look good, and people get in here and they think my car looks like trash because the doors are falling apart and stuff like that. So that's the 5th thing I hate about my car. Alright, so number 6 on the list of 10 things I hate about my car would be that it's slow. And if you come and take a look at the engine, you'll know exactly why it's slow. We have just a 2-liter inline 4. It's the biggest engine available for these cars. The other one would be the 1.8-liter turbo, but it doesn't have enough oomph to get around. Well, it has enough oomph to get around town, but when you get on the highway, you're kind of lacking in power. So that would be the 6th thing that I hate about my car. So number 7 for the things I hate about my car would be the transmission. It only has a 4-speed automatic, which means it's good around town, but when you get on the highway, again, it's missing a gear. I'm pretty sure if I had one more gear, then the 140 mile an hour speedometer might actually be a little more accurate. But when you get on the highway and you get up to speed to follow traffic and you're doing 80 or something like that, the RPMs are somewhere around 4,500 RPMs, which is not good. So it needs a different transmission. Maybe one more gear would be suffice, but that would be number 7 on what I hate about my car. So number 8 of what I hate about my car is, I didn't do this, but the girl who owned it before me, somebody keyed her door, and it's not your average key mark. There's a giant cross that has been keyed all the way across the door and all the way down to the back panel. So that's really obnoxious, and it doesn't look good, and it's a deep key mark, so it's not easy to fix either. So that's the 8th thing I hate about my car. So the 9th thing that I hate about my car would have to be the body shape. It's definitely not the most masculine looking car. Very feminine. A bunch of girls always tell me, "Oh, your car's so cute. I've always wanted a Bug." And as a guy, that really doesn't make me feel better about what I drive. I have to continuously remind myself that it's basically a Volkswagen Golf in a different body. And if you look at the Audi TT, it is almost the same shape, and the interior is exactly the same. So it's basically like a discount Audi TT is the way I like to look at it. But the fact that she's not the most aggressive looking thing on the road makes it the 9th thing I hate about my car. The 10th thing that I hate about my car is the antenna, for 2 reasons. One, it's in my hand, not attached to the car, because it broke, and it's been broken for a while, and there's really no way to put it back on without getting a whole new one. And the second one is when it was on here, it sticks up like the antenna on your RC cars or something like that. So everyone would be like, oh, Andrew's got a nice little toy car. And that definitely doesn't make me feel better about driving it. But I do love this car. I do recommend it to a lot of people, aside from some of the problems that I've showed you today. But that is the 10 things I hate about my car.